We're here today with Mel Coleman, who, as Barry just explained, has been selected as the Warren Dupuy Distinguished Alumnus for Iota Theta Zeta. Mel, glad to have you with us. I'm sorry you can't be here in person, but we thought we ought to hear from you anyway.
Well, Roy, thank you for doing this. I wish I could be there with everyone, but I am actually either on a plane or in Washington, D.C. We've got our national board meeting that starts, and it unfortunately it interfered.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can come and see us again sometime. We'll be glad to have you anytime, especially on Founder's Day.
Yeah, would love
Uh,
that.
Yeah, you came from Pocahontas. You're originally from Pocahontas, which isn't far away from A State. So it's kind of natural that you went to A State. Uh,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about that decision to go to school here and what you did here.
Well, actually, my brother, my half brother Russell Noble, and I think Warren were in school at the same time, so he had a lot to do with my choice. But yeah, 39 miles to Arkansas State from Pocahontas, not a big deal. My grandfather lived in town. I lived with him for the first 2 years. And then he passed away, and I continued to live in his house. And of course, worked in Jonesboro. So, yeah, really looking back on those early years, 71 through 75, had a great time in the city.
And you were a broadcast journalism major.
It's funny that you asked, but I actually started out as a math major. And I don't know how many people remember Dr. Jerry Lindstetter, a great man. He and I told him this story probably 10 or 15 years ago before I think he passed on, I had heard that, and I'm not sure, but I did get a chance to tell him the story that he called me in his office one day, and very distinguished gentleman. He said, Mr. Coleman, what do you intend to do with a math major? And I'm like, I don't know. He said, well, to put it in a few words, he's like, you're really not smart enough to be a math major. And I said, well, so what do I do? He said, well, what else do you like? And I said, enjoy radio TV. He said, I'll have you transferred to Charles Raspberry within an hour. So I became a radio TV major I think it was about halfway through my first year. But I always loved math. Just wasn't for me when I got into Arkansas State, but absolutely enjoyed radio and TV, which was my major. And Charles Raspberry, and a lot of people know Charles, Rich Carville, very good friends of mine, had a chance to actually see them about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't seen either one of them in forever, and sat down for about an hour with them.
And you actually did work in the field some and maybe even started a radio station.
My first job was at KNEA in Jonesboro. And yes, I was in the field at KNEA and was there late one evening, and a gentleman came in, wanted to buy some radio commercials, and asked me, oddly, if I would be interested in putting a radio station on in Salem, which is where I live now, for a gentleman that did not know anything about a radio station, but he had obtained a license and he needed somebody to help him put it on and run it. So I did that. Debbie and I moved to Salem in 1977. The July of 1977, we put that radio station on, and I stayed there until October of 1988.
Well, let's talk about your time as a Lambda Chi
Sure.
active. Naturally, Russ Noble, who
Yep.
was here in my time too,
Yep.
certainly recruited you to join Lambda Chi. Tell us about your time as a fraternity guy.
Oh, we just absolutely loved it. Of course, again, Russ helped me out. I remember all the guys that were there in my early years, and again, as age does, a lot of the names slip away. but no, we had a great time, from all of the intramural events to all of our events that we had in the suite. It was just a great time, made great friends forever. And I look back on it today and wish I could, for a little bit go back and see some of the folks that were there. But no, we had a great time. My class, I can't remember how many were there, but there were several of us that came up at the same time. We try to stay in contact, but it's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, we can arrange to have a little reunion one of these days. We've done that with a couple other classes.
And that would be a good thing to do. That would be a great thing to do. But no, I really miss all the folks. But I think fraternity life really, especially for somebody, I'm not going to say I was an introvert, but I actually started. I was 4 months into 17 years old when I started at A State. So to have a group like that there to support you, and to help you grow, in my case, because I was a very young freshman, I think did a lot of great things for me.
Well, I was an introvert, and journalism and fraternity brought that out of me
Yep.
one way or another. So,
Yep.
uh, well, you wound up in the cooperative electric
Yep.
cooperative business and spent a long time. You've been there a long time,
Yep.
and you still are. You
Yep.
sort of tried to back down a little bit from it, but then you went back to and were appointed interim CEO last summer. So
Yes.
you're back to full-time work, right?
Well, yeah, I never left full-time work in Salem. Actually, I've been at North Arkansas Electric Cooperative in Salem now since October of 1988.
Mhm.
Became CEO in January of 2001. Still am today. We had an agreement, which is very common among co-ops, that if an electric cooperative, and we're 950 of us across the country, and by the way, still on the national board. I've been on the national board since 2003. Was an officer for 6 years and president of our national association based out of Washington D.C. from 2015 to 17. So I've seen a lot of co-ops. Again, there are 950 of us across the country. But we had an agreement with Craighead Electric. It's been in place since 2012 that if either CEO left, that the other one would fill in. That's the if you get run over by a beer truck scenario. Um, and it very simply is to keep continuity going in the co-op while they search for a new CEO. So that happened. It wasn't a beer truck, but the gentleman left in July of last year. So I took over as also, in addition to my duties up here, and again, they're 168 hours in a week, so I found a way to fit it in. Um, I took over the duties down there. They actually have hired someone that will take over in January of 2026. So while still running my electric cooperative up in the hills, North Arkansas Electric, I will be interim CEO at Craighead Electric through the end of this year. But it's been a joy for me. I'm not ready to slow down. I'm not ready to quit. If I get to where I can't make a difference, then I will retire. But I think it's been a challenge. It's been a good challenge. You're at a place, and this is not. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but at times at my co-op, it's kind of on autopilot. I know when to stay out of the way and let them do their work. I know when to show up and take charge too. But a lot of the times you just got to step back and let people do their work. A little bit different situation down there. I felt needed. I felt like I've made a difference. And it's been gratifying to be able to run two cooperatives at the same time. It has taken a lot of time, but I'm up for it.
So you'll just be stepping down from Craighead Cooperative.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, January of 2026, their new CEO will take over, and I will head back to the hills.
And that new CEO, by the way, is Lambikai too.
Yes, yes, Justin Etter, great guy, and we're looking forward to Justin taking over at the end of this year. But yes, sir, and a super guy. They made a great choice.
I remember him right after I came back to Jonesboro. He was among the actives at that time, and he's number 1129. You're 355, and
Yes.
I'm 203. So we're a few apart between you and Justin for sure.
Yeah.
They just initiated number 1725.
1725.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your taking time to be with us and talk to us for the banquet, and we do hope you get a chance to
Yeah.
come and visit us sometime.
Well, I'd
Uh,
like to take just a second too, and this came as a surprise and shock to me, and there's a lot of great folks out there, and I certainly appreciate it. I'm honored. I appreciate whoever nominated me and voted on this, and you know where my heart is it's with Lambda Chi and everybody that's been associated with it, not just in my time down there, but over the years. But I certainly appreciate this award. As I said, thank a lot of Warren and all he's done over the years, and you and everybody else associated. But I want to thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart.
well, thank you very much, Mel. We have a safe trip to DC and back. So,
We'll do it. Thank you.
okay, thank you.